The first trailer to come out for Bulletstorm had the phrase, "kill with some skill." Well, I enjoy video game violence as much as the next adolescent who should be playing these games because they're way too young, but I'm curious as to how they add such strategy to the splatter.
What immediately becomes apparent about Bulletstorm is the fact that it's a three-part effort between EA, Epic, and People Can Fly, which to me means, respectively, money, engine, talent. The intro is a bit disorienting, with story and gameplay, so let's just move along. Even after you finally get to fire at super soldiers, it still feels like an entire half hour passes before the skilled shooting begins. So what is explained in this period of time? You and your group of Confederate soldiers learn that you are betrayed by General Serrano, ergo you idiotically attack his super ship and end up crashing everybody on the local resort planet. By the way, it's the future if I forgot to mention that. The resorts have fallen into disrepair, mutants are everywhere, and you have to fight your way over to Serrano to kill him / get off the planet, whichever the narrative chooses to be the most pressing when you arrive. The plot of Bulletstorm from this point forward is irrelevant. Killing with skill is all we care about. You may ask, why do games like Bulletstorm and Super Mario Galaxy get a pass on plot analysis while games like God of War 3 get downgraded because of the plot? Simple. Santa Monica Studio lied to me. But honestly, I don't have a reason. Let me introduce you to the concept of skill shots. Shooting an enemy in the head, chest, or foot until he falls over has been played out time and time again. Shooting explosive barrels near enemies, a little more satisfying. Now let's bring in a Star Wars force whip and kicking. Things are getting a little more interesting. You can impale an enemy on a giant cactus or rebar. Now kick an enemy off a cliff. Now kill an enemy that's airborne. Now shoot one that's on fire. Now electrocute one. Now whip a head off. Now guide a sniper rifle bullet into a mutant bunghole. Forget about just aiming down the sight, get creative! You do this to earn points, and points buys ammo and new weapons. It pains me to say this about something so mainstream, but here goes. Bulletstorm is one of the most creative shooters I've ever played. You've played Tony Hawk games that require you to ollie over the helicopter. Well, apply that idea of score-based activities to the first-person shooter genre, and you have Bulletstorm. Without the skill shots, it would have been a colorful, action-filled adventure with insane weapons, and I already think it's bonerific. But once I nailed a mutant to a wall with a screwdriver missile and was awarded for it, every other shooter became incredibly dull. What? I can't charge my shotgun shells with acid? This sucks. What? Bullets in Afghanistan travel in a straight line? This sucks! What? Mini-bosses' heads stay attached? This sucks! But continues to not suck. I've always praised No More Heroes for having the greatest dialogue ever in a game, and for someone who has the mentality of an adolescent who should be playing these games, Bulletstorm is the perfect competitor. I wish I could think of these hilariously idiotic lines. Epic Life Records presents Bulletstorm Classics. All your favorite lines from the first-person shooter masterpiece are now available on 2 CDs or 1 audio cassette. Included in this collection...
You scared the dick off me! Looks a mega charge with a dozen buckets of fried chicken.
I will kill your dicks!
And who could forget...
Cockfucker rim job piece of shit!
I don't want to say that Bulletstorm has problems, even though there are plenty. I mean, it just doesn't seem right to say something like that. Any bit of time given to complaints and criticism would make me sound ungrateful, and ultimately is the only section viewers pay attention to. By the way, shame on you. So, Bulletstorm. No complaints. Just areas to improve upon. Number 1. Get rid of the second guy. I understand that modern shooters often involve a partner so the cooperative option doesn't appear shoveled in. But I don't care. If you want cooperative gameplay, just plant a perfect buddy. If you want funny dialogue, give him a Navi, or a Katana. Hell, give him a Leon Casper. We have to fix this problem. I'm trying to set up the perfect skill shot, and it takes so long my wingman finds the initiative to just kill the mutant in a boring fashion. You just stole my skill shot! As if it wasn't bad enough that some skill shots are so hard, I end up dying in the middle of setup. Number 2. Wishy-washy achievements. You could skate through the game without trying all the skill shots and miss half the fun. Sort of. By the time I finished the game, I had 117 out of the 131 completed, but I really wanted them all. I was highly offended when I got a skill shot by accident, then died, and then they kind of took it away. It's in an odd state of you having it, but not really. Whatever, I say you get the achievement, you have it forever. Of course, that would screw up scoring by keeping the reward that isn't really deserved. Whatever, I say give me the point so I don't have to wait for the opportunity to arise again. Of course, by that logic, you could spam any skill shot for points, thereby taking the challenge out of buying ammo and upgrades. Whatever, I say I beat the game, I want to play through again with all weapons. Of course, you should be able to get all the shots in one playthrough if you don't dick around.
I'm just dicking around.
See what stat tracking has done to me? It's out of control. Skill shots are the real achievements, and you have achievements based on these achievements. So it all comes to the conclusion of, yo dog, I heard you like achievements. Number 3. Blurry knockdowns and get-ups. I think Black Ops set some kind of record for puke-worthy first-person swiveling. All developers can just stop this. The emotion has been drained out by overuse. Number 4, the credits. Use columns! This is taking forever. All of this can be rolled into the sequel. There should be one because the story isn't finished. And it better be one of those full-blown disc release, none of this bullcrap DLC story extensions that I refuse to buy, making me look like an ass by commenting on a pending conclusion. Damn Prince of Persia reboot.
Next on the list of games that I want to play is Duke Nukem Forever. You know, after 12 years of development, I can't add anything to this joke.
I don't care how long the Duke has been gone. He's always worth the wait. What the hell?
Fool, give me that hard drive.
Okay, now that we've jumped that hurdle, Duke Nukem Forever. Duke Nukem is the personification of cool. Period. Chauvinist, lewd, alien ass kicker. This guy is my role model. And even if this game reeks, as long as we get the tried and true Duke Nukem attitude, 10 out of 10. Wow, this new Xbox is really quiet. 12 years after the events of Duke Nukem 3D, the Duke has set up a casino in Las Vegas called the Lady Killer, and he lives in the penthouse on floor 69. This is a perfect setup for a modern Duke game. Bravo! Where the plot goes from there is exactly where it should. The same aliens are attacking Earth and stealing our chicks. That's enough motivation for Duke to get back into action. Let's rock! Much like the concept of a shooter in Washington, D.C., a shooter in Las Vegas has sadly lost its luster. We can still give Duke Nukem Forever some credit. Checking the old E3 trailers, that was always the plan. I find it interesting that the Vegas section took place during the daytime when nighttime is the most exciting because of all the lights. And I had to pause a moment to talk about the slot machines. Come on guys, the reels are spinning in the wrong direction. Years of developing these atrocities makes those kind of details get under my skin. Damn. Hey, that's my line. This game is great based on one simple fact. It's a Duke Nukem game. They didn't stray from the formula. Big guns, big aliens, big explosions. And Duke's hilarious lines only make it better. John St. John, not to be confused with James St. James, provides his legendary Deeper Clint Eastwood performance. I cannot stop raving about how funny he is. Duke Life Records presents Duke Nukem Forever Classics.
Power armor is for pussies.
The voice acting isn't Academy Award winning, but that's because the wrong people are working at the Academy. Listen closely and you'll hear clever quips on Halo, Half-Life, Donkey Kong, and a quite pointed attack on Gears of War 2. They must have forgot whose engine they were using. Pervs, don't fret. There are plenty of boobs to seek out, which is convenient now that Future Storm isn't hogging the bathroom anymore. Hey, did you know that guy could grow a beard in like 5 seconds? Yeah, I've seen him do it. Now the only problem is I have to find a way to explain to Sarah why there's an Xbox 360 and an LCD monitor in front of her makeup. As a game, yes, whether you like it or not, you're heavily interacting with software on a gaming console. As a game, it's actually a terribly clunky shooter. Aiming is stiff and punching doesn't always make its mark. Plus, given some amount of effort, you can break the game. Loading times. What happened? This isn't the PlayStation era. Loading times at last minutes is no longer acceptable. Given that this is built on the Unreal Engine, I would have understood taking longer to compensate for streaming textures. However, they still commit optical rape with popping textures. I would like to have a one-on-one talk with the sound designer. Why is the humming from the Duke Vision glasses so high-pitched? During the longer dark sections, my eardrums nearly collapsed. But, to be fair, I didn't give much merit to Duke Nukem 3D either. Hey, it's my video, you're gonna hear my opinion. Shooting was just awkward, there never was enough ammo, and the difficulty was surreal. It tried so hard to break away from linear gameplay that it was so easy to get lost. Looking around didn't help much. Looking vertically in this game looked like crap back then, so you can't say it looks like crap now. Then why on earth did I play it? It all comes back to the Duke. The game doesn't necessarily have to function. As long as I get to hear him talk about parking his bricks on an alien toilet, I'm good. Come to think of it, I played Duke Nukem 0 Hour, and kiss my ass, that was one of the best games on the Nintendo 64. You cannot go wrong with Duke Nukem. The platforming, at least for a first-person game, wasn't all that bad. I like how it mixed up the gameplay. My one true design complaint is I feel they didn't use the full potential of Las Vegas before moving on to the Hoover Dam levels. The strip is 4 miles long. A firefight on Fremont Street would have been sweet. It would have probably crashed this game, but an experience nonetheless. I guess this wouldn't work anyway because we're in a fake Vegas. The Bellagio was called something else. And when I saw the Aria lookalike, I said, whoa, it's the city center. That all fell apart when Duke boarded an EDF ship and I saw 5 more city centers. And while we're talking about vacation spots, I'll address a common misconception. I live in Reno. Reno is not Las Vegas. What's the difference? Oh, about 400 miles! Reno is the biggest little city in the world. Old people like to visit and it snows here. Fabulous Las Vegas is always wonderfully warm, everyone drives a Corvette, and it's a place where dreams really do come true. One more thing about DNF. There's an achievement for stomping a certain number of enemies. I didn't recall the stomp controls ever exposed, so I referred to the instruction booklet. I mean, a developer wouldn't skip explaining aspects of controlling the game. That would just be irresponsible. But when I get to the manual, it completely phones it in. Oh, and it turns out you just walk up to a tiny alien and you automatically stomp. To myself, I said, like I've said to so many women, you're making the situation more complicated than it needs to be. Candidly stated, if you're a fan of blue humor, guilty, and you don't mind women being treated as objects, Duke Nukem Forever is for you. Now, it's time to use the same played-out joke and be humble. And I'm all out of humble. Dain Life Records presents Storm's Adventures Classics.